stopped on the side of the road by a police officer under suspicion of a DUI is one of the most terrifying events that many people ever go through. Many people believe when an officer tells you to exit your vehicle and perform the field sobriety test that you are legally required in the state of Oklahoma to do so. And the short answer is that no, you are not legally required to participate in any field sobriety test. Now, there are 3 field sobriety tests that exist in Oklahoma, and they have been identified and standardized by a national board and authenticated as accurate ways to identify someone's inebriation or intoxication. Those 3 tests are the horizontal Gaze Nystagmus test, the walk and turn, and the one-legged stand. These are the 3 standardized tests that are used by law enforcement officers across the state of Oklahoma, and you do not have to take a single one of them. The first is the horizontal Gaze Nystagmus test, and this is a test where a law enforcement officer will hold either a pen, a light, or some object a distance in front of your face and require that you follow that object or their finger with your eyes without moving your head. The purpose of that test is to look for nystagmus, or twitching or fluttering of your pupils or your eye as you're looking, or that you will track with your head as opposed to just your eyes when you're taking that test. The second test is the walk and turn. This test is performed preferably on a flat, even surface, which if you elect to take this test, you should tell the officer, I want to take this on a flat, level surface. Make sure that you're walking on concrete or asphalt in a level space without any substantial turns or things that you may slip on. But the walk and turn consists of walking a straight line, heel to toe, until the officer tells you to stop and turn around on one foot and repeat that walk back to the officer. They're looking for a number of things during this test. Are you unsteady? Are you not balanced on your feet? Can you not successfully put your heel to toe as you're walking? Do you throw your arms out or sway back and forth during the test? The third test is the one-legged stand. Now, I know you can't see it on the video, but I am currently standing on one leg as I'm speaking to you. And it's important to keep in mind that the officer during this test is looking for where your eyes are, if you're swaying or not, if you fall over, if you have to put your foot back on the ground to stand upright. Now, these tests may be able to show signs of inebriation or intoxication, but they can show many, many other things. People can have physical conditions that impact their ability to do the horizontal Gaze Nystagmus test. People can have coordination issues, leg injuries, hip injuries, other issues that impact their body that can negatively impact your ability to do the walk and turn or the one-legged stand. So keep in mind, you're not legally required to take a single one of these tests. Now, a question that we often get is, well, what if I refuse? Well, the unfortunate and important thing to remember is that if you refuse these field sobriety tests by a law enforcement officer, you may still be arrested. All a police officer has to have in order to arrest you under suspicion of a DUI is probable cause. And unfortunately, our courts have made that a very low burden. So if an officer believes they saw you swerving or crossing lane lines, or if the officer alleges that your eyes were bloodshot and watery, or that your speech was slurred, or that there was something going on with your gait or the way that you walked, any of these things can be sufficient for the officer to believe they have reasonable, articulable suspicion, a mouthful I know, and sufficient information that probable cause exists that you drove while intoxicated. So, should you or should you not take a field sobriety test? Well, unfortunately, that's a question you must answer for yourself. But here at Cannon & Associates, we advise you to refuse the field sobriety test. These are just 3 or 4, maybe even many, many pieces of evidence that an officer can allege means one thing when it may mean something completely different if you choose to fight or defend your DUI case. Don't give the government, don't give law enforcement more evidence than you have to. Understand your rights, refuse to take a field sobriety test, and keep in mind that if you are arrested under suspicion and nothing more of a DUI, that is not the end of the case. You're entitled to a defense, you're entitled to fight, you're entitled to see every piece of evidence the government has before you decide whether you want to work out your DUI case or you want to fight and hold the government to their burden of proving your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. Here at Cannon & Associates, we're passionate about helping people defending their case, whatever it may be, including DUIs. If this video has been helpful or informative to you, we encourage you to follow and subscribe to this channel for more helpful information.